A very good evening and a warm welcome to Personal Finance. I'm Kukuletu Cele. Being your own boss is something that many of us aspire to, but leaving the comfort of a steady job is a scary thought, especially when it is so difficult to succeed in business. So how do we take the guesswork out of using your money to start a business? To tell us the answer this evening is Jayshree Naidoo, the head of Standard Bank's Incubator. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's a big issue, obviously, that a lot of South Africans actually contending with here, the balancing between starting your own business but still trying to source income and maintaining a steady job. From your experience, I know you've been an entrepreneur yourself as well. How tricky is it?
It's quite tricky. It takes quite a bit of willpower from the side of the individual to make a decision to enter the business world. And once you enter that world, there's just so many obstacles that you face as an entrepreneur. So making sure you have the right support mechanism in place is absolutely critical.
Jayshree, let's talk about that support mechanism, because let's be speaking about individuals who have some kind of full-time employment. I take it before they take that bold move to actually start a business, they really need to analyze their financial situation and seek the appropriate advice here.
Definitely, and I think that's where, having the right advice from a proper financial advisor with the right accreditation is important. So seek that advice from a professional. But we talk about the 3 F's as well: fools, family, and friends. And very often this is the first point of call for many entrepreneurs, trying to find those individuals that will support them in their business.
Where do the fools come into play here?
Well, fools are those individuals you can hopefully persuade to see things from your point of view. But it's educated guesses as well. So it's individuals that are foolish enough to know, take a chance, but I support you in what you want to do and what you want to achieve, and know where to find them as well. So hopefully the fools that we identify for entrepreneurs, or that entrepreneurs identify for themselves, are educated guesses as well.
Let's hope so, but maybe you can walk us through that, because Standard Bank, obviously, the company you represent, is a financial institution. Other than the financial backing that you offer to individuals who want to start a business, tell us about the fools that you rope in to provide some kind of guidance.
So I would like to move away from calling them fools, because we'd like to think of them as mentors and coaches, individuals that have started their own businesses but have failed. They've made mistakes, but they've learned from their mistakes. They've been able to overcome some of those obstacles to create successful business entities, and we'd like them to try and impart some of those knowledge to our entrepreneurs, so entrepreneurs can learn from mistakes of others as opposed to making the same mistakes over and over again.
I want you to walk us through some of this advice, because obviously we think about the money first, but you mentioned mentorship, thought leadership as well, access to markets. That's something that the man on the street who is still fighting to keep their job doesn't necessarily think of.
Yes. So what we found is entrepreneurs face quite a few challenges, and the top 3, you've mentioned some of them, is access to markets, access to resources, and access to funding. Now, when you offer services to entrepreneurs, you've got to almost overcome all of those obstacles, and you do that through structured processes and mechanisms like entrepreneurship development support structures or incubators. And what we're coming across now more and more is something called accelerators, where you look at an existing business, but then you help them grow it to the next level, which becomes acceleration support. And that's about linking them with the right business development partner, but also linking them with mentors and coaches that are specific to their sectors. You can't have a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to entrepreneurship development, because every entrepreneur is unique. So it doesn't help us taking an entrepreneur and slotting them into just a normal program. You've got to identify what the requirements are from an entrepreneur's perspective. What is it that they need? Where do they need to grow? Who do they need to link to? What sector support do they need? And what type of mentor will best suit their growth?
Maybe if you can give us a practical example, maybe either in your own experience or some of the clients that you've dealt with, the key challenges and the solutions that you found to those problems.
When I was an entrepreneur myself, so I left a corporate job to become an entrepreneur. And when I made the decision, in my mind, I was making it for all of the right reasons. And as soon as I became an entrepreneur, I realized, my gosh, I don't have the comfort of having a fixed income. I still have commitments. And where do I get the support? So firstly, you realize how quickly you lose quite a few of those friends that you thought you had from a corporate perspective, because when you're a corporate person, it's very different, and accessing those market opportunities. So for us, it's important when we engage with entrepreneurs to provide access to market opportunities for them as much as possible. And that's about putting them in front of either our value chain or a corporate value chain that they can position their products and services to. You've come across terms like Dragon's Den and pitching sessions. So we want to create those opportunities for entrepreneurs as well to get access to some of those opportunities. Some of the examples that you've asked for. So one of my favorite entrepreneurs is a social entrepreneur. She has a business where she makes repurposed schools bags from plastic packets. And we've been able to link her with our internal value chain, but also link her to a structured development program and support from a branding and marketing perspective, because we've realized that she does not necessarily need funding. What she needs is hands-on support from a marketing, branding, as well as acceleration perspective.
It's interesting, you mentioned that some move completely out of the security of having a full-time job to become entrepreneurs. But what about moonlighting, people who try to balance both? Is that advisable, especially for South African consumers?
Of course. I mean, that's why you have formal processes within companies where you sign lots of little paperwork and something called conflict of interest. So moonlighting is actually something that most companies do allow within their organizations. Our company has a moonlighting policy as well, where as long as your company is declared and is not in conflict of interest, you are able to pursue that. But as a staff member, where would you get access to business development opportunities? So it's important, if you are allowing staff members to pursue outside interest, you give them the right level of support to access development opportunities either on the evenings or on weekends, so they can grow their business, so they become successful entrepreneurs. At the end of the day, you are contributing to the economy because it's about job creation. So we've had staff members that have everything from co-owning a clothing boutique to having little mementos that they create on the side with helpers in their homes. And these are businesses. They're real businesses run by real staff members that need as much support as every other entrepreneur.
And I take it that's the key then for the viewer that's watching tonight, because it's the management not only of your own finances, but of the business itself.
Definitely. And not every inventor is necessarily a business person. So you can have a really great idea and you can have amazing products, but business acumen is a skill that you need to acquire. Sometimes it takes years, and sometimes with the right level of development, you can get that from either a financial provider or from structured programs that individuals can access. I mean, there's so much available nowadays in terms of e-learning, you know, YouTube clips that you can educate yourself through. Get on a structured development program like those that are offered by us, as well as other financial services institutions and even external business development companies.
You mentioned something very important there, that not every inventor might be the perfect business opportunity there. Is that also the starting point, that the idea that you might have to pursue your own business, how do you ensure that it is bankable? That's the key word.
It takes some due diligence. You've got to do your evaluation. Like any proper business, we advise organizations to do a proper business case, business model your business, use principles like lean startup. Everyone wants to take an idea and it has to become a business straight away. What we say is, look at the market opportunities that are available and do your proper research and get proper advice and assistance. When we say not every inventor is a business owner and entrepreneur, you've got to think about the technology space. You've got amazing individuals, but they're technical individuals. They have amazing ideas, but not always the right business acumen. So you've got to ensure that you partner that individual with either the right entrepreneur that can take their business to the next level, or equip them with the right level of skills to make them an entrepreneur that can create a sustainable business.
which is where you come in. But before we wrap up the conversation, Jayshree, maybe if you can walk us through other considerations that entrepreneurs and individuals need to take into consideration, that before you start up your business, don't necessarily sign away your home to that particular, asset that you're still trying to build up. I take it they need to seek other legal advice and other financial advice to ensure that their personal assets and their personal wealth isn't jeopardized.
I would rather an individual that is embarking on becoming an entrepreneur, it's absolutely critical to ensure that it's something you're passionate about. Find a business opportunity that you are passionate about, but also knowledgeable about. You don't ever want to outsource, the details of your business and the intricacy around your business to somebody else. It must be something you know every detail about. So ensure you choose something that you are both passionate and knowledgeable about. Ensure you've given enough consideration to all of your financial aspects. So everything must be in order. At least have a 6 to 12 month income to cover your expenses that you might incur while you're running your own business. Ensure that you have the right market opportunities and access to markets. So don't start researching whether a product is going to fly or not after you've resigned from your current job. Ensure you've done all of that research up front. So there's quite a few things you need to consider, but that's where organizations like us come in, where we would help you to ensure that you get all of the answers you need before you embark on this very, very, very important path.
Exactly. Well, let's wrap this conversation up now in our Notes to Self segment. Jayshree, we've certainly said quite a bit tonight, but the key takeaway points from our discussion?
Know exactly what it is that you want to pursue. Make sure it's something that you're extremely passionate about. Engage with an organization that is able to support you throughout your journey in being an entrepreneur and can offer you support in access to markets, access to resources, and access to funding.
And get the right advice in order to make sure that you're supported in both areas. And don't put your house and cars at risk, I take it, huh?
Not at all.
Exactly. Thank you so much for your time this evening, helping us understand how one can basically augment their income by starting up their own businesses. But that's where we leave it for Personal Finance tonight. A very big thank you once more to Jayshree Naidoo, the head of Standard Bank's Incubator. Remember that we want to hear from you, so send us your tweets, comments and suggestions to @CNBC Africa using the hashtag Finance410 or to myself @Kukumfupi on Twitter. Until next time, it's goodbye for now.